Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
You know the one that, like, drives me insane?
What?
Is when people eat.
In front of a mic?
Yes.
Why does that drive
It is the grossest thing ever. Like, I'm okay with drinking, because usually it's
quiet.
it's not...
You
unless
don't
they're
go-
like...
you're
Unless like... and you're just like, ugh.
Have
But when someone's like...
you ever done a cold open to a
Yes.
podcast?
So many times.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm like, I wanted to go, whoa, guys, this is Ben Elledge and my friend here, Josh, and we're on the Anime Station podcast. Whoa, dude, we're going to have a radical about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, some weed crap. Is this a family-friendly show, by the way, Josh?
Yes, and with that, we're actually going to start.
Nice! Good start.
So, oh man. Welcome to the Animation Station podcast, everybody. I have Ben Elledge with me, and we're going to talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and this is a family-friendly podcast,
Okay.
so not a lot of weed.
I was about
That
to
was
say-
yesterday.
I used crap instead of another favorable word for the same thing. So
Not bad. I'll allow it.
Okay, so
We can crap it up.
So Josh, we were discussing earlier how much JoJo you've watched, and you've watched the first 8 episodes. You didn't even finish part 1.
I did not finish part 1.
Okay, you did not see the spectacular ending.
I have read things, and I've done YouTube videos, but that's basically as much as I've gotten.
Do you want to know how I got into JoJo, Josh?
Yes. First off, Ben, tell everybody who you is. How I knows yous.
Okay, so I am Hannah's brother for your eagle-eyed viewers out there who discovered that my last name coincides with Hannah's.
Convenient.
Yeah, convenient, yes. So, and then, like, through Hannah, I met you, and then we've hung out a few times, and I'm a...
We've hung out a few times. I helped you move.
Yeah, you did help me move. You're very right, and I appreciate that, by the way.
Oh, no problem.
So,
Bring it up more,
I'm a huge gamer myself. I have almost every game console. Actually, I have almost collected the consoles of all the consoles I want to own. I have a large board game collection. Anything gaming, anything kind of nerdy, I can kind of grow to, because there comes with an appreciation of a work or medium that I love when someone's passionate about something. There's a reason why I love JoJo's, because the creator is so passionate about his work, and his artwork is so gorgeous. It's the same thing with Yuji Shinkawa, who does the artwork for Metal Gear Solid. He does, like, all the concept art in his... He created his own gosh dang style. Like, unlike what most artists do nowadays, he created his own style, and it's amazing. And I appreciate anyone who's passionate about their work and how much effort that goes into it. And usually, like, when someone their work is a reflection of their own passion, that is when I become very attuned to something. And unfortunately, like, I'm drawn more to Eastern works, is because you can see how passionate they are. Unlike Western works, where it feels very...
We got to make this to make some money.
Exactly, and that's something that I frown at a lot of. And same thing with, like, video games. Like, most video games are made to make a profit now, and there's very little passion in the work. And when there's passion, like, the Metal Gear Solid 5 is very divisive. People don't like it because there's not enough plot for a Metal Gear game, but the amount of detail and all the things you can do, and how, like, you can set a C4 charge off and knock an electrical pole down, and it will electrocute somebody when the power lines hit them. It's just immensely detailed, but you wouldn't get that in another game because that'd take too much work.
Well, Hitman.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing. It's like, that is made by a French company.
Yeah.
And they are very passionate about their work.
Well, it's the same thing with, like, French animation, if you're bringing that up. I mean, like, French animation is, like, almost right up there with, Japanese and Korean animation.
Yeah. Well, it's just, like, anything, like, honestly, I'm just not a huge fan of what American works. Like Bethesda is kind of crap.
It's basically the same game.
They're
over.
dumbing it down to make it more sellable when they should making it more interesting of an RPG mechanism. And that is when you just take something and you just kind of... I'm not saying, like, dumbing something down is bad because it makes it more accessible, but when you're making something that the work is not, that's when I have a problem. Like, if you look at the first Mass Effect to the other Mass Effects, they're entirely different games. Yeah. And the same thing with like Elder Scrolls. Like, Elder Scrolls 1 and 2 are very, very different than 3 is just kind of the continuing of it, but then 4 is my favorite because it's a blending of what is easy to work with and simplified but still has the depth and complexity of an RPG. And then Skyrim just stripped everything out and made it so simplistic it's not interesting anymore. Because you have to have some level of complexity to make it interesting. And like the same thing with art. Like there's some art styles that I'm just not a fan of because they're so simplistic. Like, or you go so detailed where the characters can't move. And like one of my favorite shows is a regular at Magic High School, but the characters are so detailed they hardly ever move because most of the budget can't go to making everyone super flamboyantly.
So a lot of close-up shots.
Well, it's more like they are very static when they're talking. Like they when they walk, they're very static. Everyone has kind of it's
never see legs.
Well, it's just no, you do, but it's just like they're not moving their arms a lot or getting very expressive when they're talking, but it's because most of their budget was spent on like the 4 fight scenes in the entire show, which are so detailed it's like makes the entire show worth it. But then like you kind of have to figure out how much detail you're willing to have or how stylistic you need to be. Like one of my favorite shows is Konosuba. I don't know if you watched that one.
Yes.
It's just like it's super goofy, but it's so well animated and styled well.
Yeah.
That it doesn't need tons of animation.
I mean, yeah,
it doesn't need tons of detail.
They bring in a lot of facial expressions. Like whenever Aqua or Megumin like they get eaten by a frog.
Yeah.
And it's just like him, just like, you just like very much like.
But it stays within its own style. Like most anime shows, when they do gags, they go into like the hyper end of anime gagging.
Yeah.
And that's when it breaks immersion and it's not funny because it's just the same crap we've seen in shows from the 90s. Like they don't evolve their humor anymore, but Konosuba focuses a lot on the character style of their faces and making the gags off of these situations.
They also do a lot with.
But you also like as a dude, I relate so much with Kazuma.
Yeah,
but
because like,
because he's just like he's such a bro and he's selfish. He's in kind of a harem, but he's not like the girls aren't fully into him, but he kind of knows he's in a harem. But he's like also not a wimp and not willing to back out of his harem. And it's like I mean the episode where he tries to get a succubi to come to his house and get his dreams and he protects her. It's just like he's a dude and that's relatable. Like a lot of anime shows make their like I don't watch Mary.
By the way, cutest succubus ever. Like she's adorable. She's
you know what they say, Josh. She's kawaii desu.
Get out of here.
You welcome me onto this podcast, Josh. You freaking a whole world of worms. But it's just like in that like when characters are relatable and like they would behave like you would behave in that situation and it makes sense. Like I've seen clips from a lot of harems. Like there's like Behemoth or something. I don't remember the title. It's got a great babe in it, but the main character is such a wimp. I don't want to watch it. It just doesn't make it appealable. It's like that's most harems though. Main character's spineless.
Yeah, the main character is usually never good.
The spineless character that you can insert yourself into to live out your fantasies of being in a harem. And let's just be real that pornographic material is so much better because those characters aren't wimps. Yeah. because they help you satisfy the fantasy that you have about being in a harem. But at the same time, like most shows do the character so poorly, it doesn't feel like it's a fantasy because you have to insert yourself into it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why like if you play any of those like Eroga games, like the main character, it's like he's got hair that goes completely over his eyes, so you can't see him. It's
just the same. What's one of your favorite shows, Josh?
Assassination Classroom.
No. Fate Stay Night, dude.
Oh, what's wrong with Fate Stay Night?
Because it is that all it is.
Hey, you leave Shiro alone.
That's all it is.
You leave him alone.
There's even the mobile game that's super lewd, where you can just kind of have your team of cute girls.
Like you do. Well, the best part about Assassination Classroom is like there is a character who literally has hair over his eyes. Is he the
self-insert character?
No. He is, like they give everybody nicknames.
So man, this is such a podcast about JoJo.
Oh yeah. We'll get to JoJo. We've also got news too.
Yeah.
So they
How
give
much is
everybody.
This gonna be cut?
Oh no, we're leaving it all.
Yes,
there's a character. She's very flat, so they call her Forever Flat, which is mean.
Very charming.
There's oh god. I think in the manga his name is Trap. It's the main character because like he is a boy that kind of looks like a girl, so they call him Trap. Yeah. But they call him like androgynous and
other words
in the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then in the manga, it is his character who's a sniper. They call him a Roga main character.
Nice.
And I think they just I don't remember what they call him in the anime, but it's not as good. But I'm just like, that's why the manga 1,000 times
Oh, yeah,
better.
it's like the same thing with like...
And he's just like sitting there with his, and they're like, everybody hates their names, and he's like, yeah, I kind of get it.
It's like my friend, I have a friend Andre and a friend Tyler who are converted to JoJoism, and Andre watches
Converted to JoJoism.
Yeah, but,
what is the hand sign for JoJo?
It's a sweet sick pose, dude.
Okay.
What are we talking about? This is JoJo. But you know, like I originally watched it because I'll explain how I got into it. Because one of my favorite things was I watched a video a long time ago. And when I was like super into YouTube, I discovered things like all the funniest bits of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I never heard of the show. It sounded like Bobo, and I
God,
like that.
what a garbage show.
That was a bad show, but it was super funny. It knew what it wanted to be, and it's super. Now that I've watched JoJo, I'm like, this is just a parody of JoJo, because it's so ridiculous, but it fits. But when I was watching, I was like, okay, I'll watch this clip, and it's all the tragic character deaths. Every single one.
What a way to start off.
I was like, this is supposed to be funny? Like, I was confused. I was more like, wow, these are all the character deaths. I was confused. And then like later, a year later, I started discovering, and it's like when part 3 was out and part 4 was coming out, and there's like all these just inundated with JoJo memes on my YouTube, and then I started watching them. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this show, and then like I had friends come over and watch the first 3 episodes. Like, oh, that was cool. And then I binge watched in like the next 4 months, like the entirety of part 3 all the way up. And I just like, because like I was telling you earlier, like moments before we started, like the reason I love JoJo is because of its campiness. It knows how to take it so well seriously, but then it also has some real stakes. Characters die all the time, and when they're in a fight and they get really injured, you're like, this could be another character. But you have another 5 main characters. Like, this is the reason why I don't like My Hero Academia. There's so many main characters, and you know none of them are going to die.
Yeah.
Not a single one, because someone likes that character, so they can't afford to kill them. But in JoJo, I like all the characters, usually. And when one dies, it has some real impact. It makes the journey feel like an emotional one, instead of a no-stakes learning convention on the way of life.
Well, that's kind of like Naruto. Like a lot of like the main, like
shonen anime in general.
You're not going to kill a main character. Like, who dies in Naruto? Like of the kids, like the only like a couple Hokages die.
I haven't watched it, but it's like even then I know they don't.
Yeah, it's like
because
same thing in Bleach. I'm like, does anybody really die in Bleach?
The side cast is just as important as the main character, but in JoJo, I feel like because they kept the side cast to a minimum, and the way the show is structured, that it's always a lineage, that every part can have its own intense stakes. And that is what the beauty of JoJo is. When people look at JoJo, like, oh, it's the same thing as any shonen anime. But the structure of the show is so different. It can be structured so differently than most shonen. And when people don't call it a shonen anime, it still is. Just because a character doesn't have a whole learning arc. Like, of learning how to use my stand. Which Part 7 does, and why it's one of the best ones. But it's like about learning what your own true sense of justice is. And what you're willing to do to protect the people you love. And like, those are the things that I like about JoJo, and the convictions character has. And like, dude, when a character dies, it is super emotional. And like, I don't want to get into spoilers, but it's like in part 3, a character dies, and one of the character's reaction is so believable that he can't believe he's dead. He just denies the fact that this person just died right next to him, and he fights to the edge of his life in vengeance. And it's just like, that's so much more impactful than any other shows. Like next to Kamina's death in Gurren Lagann, like stuff carries so little weight in shows, but when a character dies, that has so much more gravitas in a show. And that's why JoJo transcends itself.
And it does kind of put everybody on pace throughout the series.
Yeah, and it's like, and it always is like, whenever the main baddie comes up, like most of the time, a character won't die just halfway through a show. Halfway through a part, a character won't die. But when the main baddie shows up, everyone is expendable. Every single character is. And I feel bad for the people watching part 5 not knowing what happens in that one. But it's just like, that is the real ride of not knowing what's going to happen. And, spoil JoJo for yourself. I honestly recommend spoiling JoJo.
Well, like I've done a lot of like from the reading and stuff
Yeah.
that I've done. Like I've read a lot of a lot of the spoilers and stuff for JoJo, and I've seen YouTube videos.
It's
and
hard.
everything.
It's hard. Because the meme culture of
Yes.
YouTube. There's so much memes of JoJo. Good reason, because it's funny, but at the same time, it's just like it's impossible not to catch a character death, or some person's crazy ability being unleashed, or something interesting happening. Worldo, come on. You cannot get out of YouTube without seeing a Worldo meme. But it's like, that's one of the best reveals ever, is that Dio can stop time. And I don't feel afraid saying that, because it's everywhere on the internet, and if you haven't seen it, you're dead.
So we're going to say this. Like, what's the current season that's out right now?
Okay, current season is part 5. It's almost concluded, because I know how the part continues, and there's probably, I would say, about 6-7 more episodes.
Okay, let's stop. Let's do spoilers up to part 4. So, sorry, up to part 5. So, I mean, nothing in part 5.
Because if you haven't, like, if you're not going to
some people may be waiting for the season to fully come
JoJo
out.
is the most divisive show I've ever met. People who hate the memes and are sick of it and don't even want to watch it, I'm like, that's fine. I can respect that, because, I don't like Undertale. I never even played it, but because the amount of memes and how much people talk about it turned me off.
Yeah.
The fans turned me off, and I could see the same thing happening to JoJo people. If they just get tired of the people who talk about JoJo, that's perfectly understandable. I can respect that. But it's like, so I'm gonna explain the plot to you. So in part 1, Dio is the perfect dickbag character. I'm sorry, this is a kid's show.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But he is.
You get one dickbag.
But
well,
that is so his character, though. He's such a hateable piece of crap. Like,
when he comes in, you're just like,
that is good writing, though. The first episode of the show, and you hate this person. It's perfect. It creates such a good antagonist to start the show. And my friend Andre said, I wish Dio was the villain through the entire series. And I was like, that wouldn't be too bad. But it's just like, and then the first part is Jonathan and his adopted brother Dio fighting, and their conflict, and Dio spiraling kind of into madness over his own ambition and rejecting humanity, becoming a vampire. Not in that sense, but vampires in JoJo are very different than most works. More like, they're kind of like traditional vampires with addendums to how they can be killed, because they're super powerful, only can go out at night, and they can make zombies, they can make vassals, and terrifying, because the first part of JoJo is horror. That's the first thing. It's supposed to be a horror show. And then it's Jonathan stopping Dio, what he thinks is stopping Dio. And then we go into part 2, and it's his grandson, and it's Indiana Jones. It's to crest across to get this artifact and stop these super vampires who created the vampires. And the Pillar Men are incredibly powerful. They're essentially gods, because they have their own abilities. And it's Joseph Joestar, my favorite character. Dog bless. And he is so amazing because he's a trickster. Like, he have you seen memes about Joseph Joestar?
I've seen old
Your
Joseph
next
Joestar.
line is, yes, your next line is memes are very good, but it's like, that is just like, he's always one mental step above his opponent, and that's what makes it all the fights super interesting and super cool. And the conclusion is crazy and zany and perfect for a show that's called The Bizarre Adventure. And then, so it's like him trying to get the stone to stop. They're protecting the stone, because if they get the stone, it's a MacGuffin. They can become perfect. They can go out during the day. And so it's like, if they get that stone, you have the perfect life form. Someone that's so powerful and has so much control over humanity that the human's going to do anything over it, because they're just so strong. And it's them trying to stop them from getting the stone. And the wild ride that is part 2, but that's one of my favorites. And then in part 3, they introduced something that as every shonen anime ever has copied, and they're called stands. And stands are very weird, very structured, very rule-based abilities. Usually I call them fighting ghosts. Like Shaman King was very JoJo. After you watch JoJo, you realize how much stuff copied it. But it's not in a bad way. I condemn no one for copying JoJo because it's so cool. It's like the same thing with Persona. Persona's just JoJo. It's just JoJo. And then same thing with like most stuff that have asymmetric hard magic systems where everyone has unique abilities, that trickled down from JoJo probably. Somewhere. You were like, the dude who is writing One Piece says his biggest inspiration is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Because...
Do they all... yeah, I guess they all do kind of have a special thing.
A special ability that they own have and that evolves. Like, look at Luffy. His ability at start, like, oh, he's going to stretch his skin. But he actually has skin control, and that adds so many layers to his ability because simple abilities are the best because you can do so much with them. But that's very JoJo-esque. Like, you're only as good as the person in your head. Like, if you're clever and smart, your stand is way more dangerous and way deadlier than the most powerful ability if that person's an idiot. They can be like, I can stop time. It's like, well, I can create symbols on things that are sound waves. So, like, if I wrote boom on something, it would explode. Or if I wrote whoosh, a giant wind gush would come off of it. That makes you super dangerous if you're super intelligent and know how to use it. And that's what JoJo's about. It's like, because while most shonen animes are about, I'm going to get stronger so I can beat you, My Hero Academia. It's about, I'm going to outwit you. I'm going to be smarter than you, and my mental gymnastics will outlast you so much faster. And that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it so much more resonating, is that stands create this catalyst of interesting encounters where the characters themselves might think they're getting beaten, but they're setting up a trap. They're setting up a feint to destroy you. And
yeah, because like that's kind of, because I mean, I'm only in like season 1, so I haven't gotten to stands yet. But from what I've known and a lot of what you've told me about all the stands, I'm like, the little boy that grew up listening to 80s music is gonna absolutely love it. Yeah, because stands are based off, because they're based off tarot cards, and then they go into Egyptian gods, and at the very end of part 3, he makes music references through the entire show. You have Tom Petty, you have Dire and Straits, you have Dio. I will say that was the first time that I had really like my first kind of intro to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was a long time ago. Yeah. During like AMV Hell, and they would have like a little bit where it was just like it would the old AMV Hells, and it would have like the a picture
old movie, the old third,
like the one that was like an hour and like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Like I've shown you my favorite bit, and it's the Darby the Gambler, the original one, and that dude's voice acting, like he was selling those lines if no one else. Say it out loud right now, Darby! It's just like, I love that. It cracks me up every single time, but it's just like, he's into it. Yeah. I will never give that guy a crap because he was into those lines. And it's just like, it makes you wonder, like, I don't know if you were a Newgroundser too, weren't you? Yeah. So like, my Rice Pirate, Mick, he's a huge fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He never talks about it on this podcast I listen to called Sleepy Cabin. And he never talked about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, respecting him keeping it close, because if he knows no other people are going to listen to him, he's just going to keep it to himself. But he's making his own part. He's writing his own fan part of JoJo, animating it and everything. Blood Sun Vendetta, check it out, amazing work. And he rather like masochistically was like, I'll never be good as an artist as Hirohiko Araki, and respect him for respecting him, but his art's amazing. It's fantastic work, and it's just like, I wish like someone would have introduced me into. Never mind, because I would not have liked JoJo when I was younger. I know because I'd be like, this is kind of silly and goofy, and it's not taking itself seriously. But I love that now.
But now when you're older,
I've matured, and like when it's just you're just constantly braided with stuff that takes itself so seriously. Like everything Marvel takes itself so seriously, but there's no stakes. There's really just shoehorned in one-liners that just don't fit. Like, you've seen the trailer for Endgame, haven't you?
No.
Freaking the characters are like cracking jokes, and like half the world's population's been decimated. And you're like, you're gonna crack a joke? Wouldn't you be somber? Wouldn't you be like mentally preparing yourself to die to save everyone? Like, wouldn't that be your mindset?
Yeah.
Ant-Man? Paul Rudd face looking at me, mother. Get out here.
See, my thing with the Marvel movies, like, there were never any stakes. Like, that first Iron Man, you were like, okay.
Iron Man 1, the first Avenger, Thor 1 can go die in outer space because it's too jokey.
Yeah, it's very much just, get me another.
It's all right. The first time I saw it was all right. But it's like Iron Man 1 and Captain America are still pretty all right movies.
I was so bored during the first Captain America. I bet if I watch it now,
I was on a date when I was like 16. Gosh dang, that came out like 8 years ago, dude.
You a young boy.
I am a young lad. But at the same time, it's like that. like Iron Man 1 though, I will defend that movie. It's a good movie.
No, it's
Jeff
a really
Bridges
good movie.
does a good movie. There's a YouTube channel.
Iron Man 2, just stop giving Mickey Rourke work. Just stop.
There's a guy I watch on YouTube every once in a while, and he was talking about how to fix certain villains. Like, Iron Man 1 is a good movie, but he's like, the villain could have been even better. It's like, he talked about rewriting the screenslaver from Incredibles 2. Did you ever see Incredibles 2?
Yeah. It was a movie that was not a children's movie.
After watching that,
all.
I don't like the screenslaver though. I feel like her motivations were weird, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any
sense. She wants to help them make them legal, but then antagonize them at the end. Why didn't you just not do anything? They were already illegal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because she wanted to
make them even more illegal.
Well, it was one of those like
make it like meth illegal, not
she
weed
wanted
illegal.
to like kind of almost like shove it in their faces because it got her parents killed.
Yeah, but at the same
and
time,
I'm sitting there, I'm just like,
this guy was talking about how if her dad died because of TV, and then like she was trying to show the evil of television instead of just antagonizing heroes. I was like, that'd be really cool. That'd be an easy solution because you just want people to stop looking at TVs and show that this is what it can do to you. And I was like, that's cool. That's a simple solution. And you know, like, I just feel like when people take itself so seriously, it just gets old. Like, every show takes itself so damn seriously, especially most American shows. Like, they take themselves like every single thing is bleeding angst and like bleeding like.
There's I'm gonna go with you on that. I'm gonna agree.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna counterpoint with a lot of the stuff that happens with those shows.
Yeah.
That makes them so angsty are the fans of those shows.
Because that's what they want. They're feeding off of it.
Exactly. And I don't like fan culture now in America is so bad.
Like they probably wouldn't have made another Game of
bad.
Thrones season. Like, let's be real. Like, Game of Thrones would have ended a long time ago. He's not even done with the books, guys.
Well, my thing is, like, I was listening to a podcast and I completely agree with it. I don't think he'll ever finish them
because of the fan culture.
And it's gonna be like, oh, it's completely different from the show, and it's like there's no incentive for him to finish them now.
It's probably the same thing with like, I mean, you say that, but I honestly think it's probably like that everywhere, Josh. I mean, like, we're not exposed. Would Hidehiko Araki still be writing JoJo to this day? People didn't love it. Honestly, I think he would because it takes a month to release a manga chapter, but the art, dude, is good. But it's like you can tell he loves what he does.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hold him in reverence, which I'm glad because.
Well, again, I think it's a culture thing too.
Look at the dude. Look at the dude that's writing Hunter x Hunter.
Oh God, jeez.
He's freaking killing himself over it, and like he had to write out he wrote an apology letter at the end of Yu Yu Hakusho, saying that he couldn't finish it and he was so sorry, and it sounded like he was like losing his mind, and that's awful. Like I don't like if I made something that was virally popular, there's a reason I'm on social media. Because I just want to have to deal with people who just love my work and gush. It's like, oh, can I have more? It's like, don't you just love my work for what it is? And why do you need a second game or a second season? Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like my problem with Attack on Titan. To where it's just like...
because it's so virally popular, they have to keep going, regardless if it's good or not. And I've never watched Attack on Titan. I don't like hopeless story scenarios. I just don't. Like, it's just like, the world's already ended. How are we going to fix it?
You can't stop it.
You can't stop it. It's like the same thing with Ruby at the end of like, what was it? Volume 3. It was just like, the world ended. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the places that are left are it. Everything else is grim.
Like you lost the grid, you lost communication. Like, what are you going to do? It's like, nothing, I guess. Because obviously everyone who's the antagonists are so far ahead of the protagonist, it doesn't feel satisfying. Like, the Titans are so beyond humans. Like, you only have, like, the scouts who can do decent damage to Titans, but they're endless. It's a horde. You can't do anything. So it's just like that kind of crap.
It's like, we're going to go take this back. And I'm like, you guys still haven't taken back, like, part of your own city.
It's like because part of the show is to show how powerless the characters are, you know. But you don't get any catharsis when someone comes out to be a Titan. Because it's like, that's one dude.
It's like, oh, that person's also a Titan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're a Titan too?
In JoJo,
okay.
like, the situation might seem hopeless, right? But the main character comes off, like, their determination and how competent they've shown themselves to be instill you with the trust that they can overcome the problem. Like, look at Part 7 of JoJo's. Part 7, like... Josh, do you want a synopsis of Part 7 of JoJo?
What's part 7 of JoJo?
Okay, part 7 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure begins with a horse race across America. It's Hidalgo.
I was supposed to like, are you making Hidalgo?
Yeah, but everyone has stands.
Okay.
The main character has this ability called the spin, which is a twist off of Ripple. I didn't mean to hit the mic. I'm sorry, fans.
That's fine.
It's a twist off of the Ripple where you can make something spin by looking at a golden triangle in objects. That's a really brief synopsis. It goes into a way better version in the manga, which I need to reread. But it's like he can throw steel balls and make them spin. And he can contort like body parts and stuff because the rotation entering your body. It's really interesting stuff. It's really cool. But then the main character's a paraplegic. And it's great. It's and he does it so well because he's.
Is he also? I guess he would be. Is he not?
He touches
he's not
the
a
steel.
star?
He touches the steel ball, and he can stand for a second. And he's so blown away that he wants to become like the disciple of Guy Rosapelli because of the spin. And he's like, I have to figure out how to walk again because he's a horse racer, and he gets shot in the back and is paralyzed from the waist down. And so he's competent at horse racing. So like he gets in the horse race to go along with Gyro to become his disciple. And then like there's like this when he reset the world at the end of part 6, I won't get into that, but JoJo was reset because he was running out of ideas. So he revamped the world. And so like all the stands are more simple again and everything's great. But there's like these kind of phenomena that happen in certain events where like in certain regions of the world where you gain stands by entering it. So he enters this part, the horse race cuts through it, so all the horse racers get like stands. And so he gets Tusk based off of I forget the Flintwood Mac song. Really good song, really interesting. And so like he gets Tusk Act 1, and then they're going through the horse race through America, and the main antagonist is the president of the United States, and he's crafted this whole thing to go through the United States to collect the body parts of Jesus, baby. Trying to collect them all. He's got to collect them all because if you collect all the parts, you get a super ability, and it's an ability called Love Train where it deflects all misfortune from you. So if like someone would try to shoot you with a gun, like a kid somewhere in the world would be executed, or like the misfortune would go away from him
and into somebody else.
And somebody else.
Well,
it's super weird when I say it like that, but like then he earns the golden rotation, which is like the ultimate form of the spin, and he goes to Tusk Act 4, which can pierce through the dimensional barrier. It's just so cool. Like it's such a hype part, and I cannot wait for it to be animated. Hopefully better than part 5, because I'm not a big fan of the animation of part 5 so far. Everything seems very rubbery, like kind of all the stands kind of move like they're rubber instead of like very rigidly, and that I don't know, that just puts me on some stands. Like some stands are better than others, like, but the way Black Sabbath was animated, I was like, this is weird. I'm not a huge fan.
Is Black Sabbath the cat?
No, Black Sabbath. That's Stray Cat. That's actually a band.
Okay. I thought one of them, like, there's like a pink cat and then there's like a black cat.
Okay, so pink cat. We're talking Killer Queen.
Killer Queen, yeah.
Killer Queen. That is the pink cat. Not really. It looks like a cat, but it's not really. But I didn't understand.
It's a dude in S&M.
Black cat. Was it just a cat?
I think it was just a cat.
Well, that's probably Stray Cat, and when it dies, its stand activates.
Okay.
So
let's talk about how this show hates animals. And kills them all.
No, I actually when someone explained it to me, it was perfect. Like Hirohiko Araki's favorite animal is dogs. He loves dogs. And he said that anyone that is willing to kill a dog is a despicable human being. And so when an antagonist kills a dog, it's like to show you that this person's a piece of crap, that he cares nothing about anyone else, and just set the stage rather risk-free for the protagonist that this person is just gonna kill them. That's their only goal, is like advancing their own motives because animals are just lower than them. And I think that's like it's kind of dark that he kills so many dogs in the show, but it's just like, I mean, you watch, this is literally JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and like it passed through 6 dogs. I'm like, and you know that he makes fun of that show, but obviously he's watched like the entire thing. He obviously loves that show because
see, that's the best part. Like,
you can tell when he likes something
because that's when he actually does a thing over it.
Yeah, it's
because
like
he knows so much about this.
JoJo he obviously knows about, but like Kingdom Hearts he obviously doesn't like.
Yeah, like Zelda though. Love Zelda because I mean, like, everything he made in
like
Zelda.
My Hero Academia though. Like, what do you think of My Hero Academia, Josh?
I
I think it's like the perfect
I was
evolution. I think it's the perfect evolution of shonen.
Yes, because I was reading to a bit, and then we got to like this tournament fight, and I was just like, I hate tournament fights, and I understand that is a shonen thing. It's like there must be a tournament because
Thank goodness
everything's
JoJo
we're gonna
never
fight.
has a tournament.
Can you imagine if there was?
It'd be really cool. It'd probably be
Season 8. Part 8 is going to be the tournament.
Very Yu Yu Hakusho-esque. It'd be very.
Where
like,
it would take 13 seasons.
It'd be more like it would circumvent your expectations of what it's about. It wouldn't be just a tournament fight. You know what I mean? It would be.
See, that was the weirdest part in like Yu Yu Hakusho, where like they would be in the tournament, and then they would go off for like 20 episodes on some random quest, and then like they'd go back to the tournament and be like, everyone's dead. They're all dead.
Yeah, it's just like
And they're like, oh, we were gone for so long, and you're like, yeah.
I read a decent amount. All right. And then I got to a part where there's Gentle, who's a villain, and he can rubberize objects. He can even rubberize air. He's really cool. He was better than the main character. Or the kid who could make himself intangible, and he used it so well. I was like, this is the best character. And then crap happens to him, and he loses it. I'm like, wow, this is the stupidest show ever. And it's just like, I don't like Deku. I just don't like the main character.
No, he's very whiny. He cries a lot.
He cries a lot, but it's also just like, I want to be the best superhero. It's like, great, kid. And that's his only motivation.
He just wants to be a superhero. He wants to be like his hero All Might.
Yeah, it's
just like
that's my
why
problem.
Why should be better than All Might?
That's some of my problems with later JoJo antagonists, protagonists. Excuse me. Like I don't like Giorno, the one that's in part 5 right now, because he just wants to be a gangstar. And I said that purposely because they say that. They don't say gangster.
Gangstar.
Gangstar. Let's be real here. It's great. But it's just like that's his only motivation. And same thing with part 4. It's just like the Johnny from part 7, the paraplegic. I love him because he has good motivations and he has cool character arcs and he's a good character. But then Josuke is just a dude who wants to save his town, and Gyro wants to be a gangstar, and then Jolene's actually really cool because she cares about her dad and has conflicting emotions and character arcs.
Is she part 6?
She's part 6, and that one's gonna be really cool when it gets animated. There was fan stuff of that when it was being people would post on YouTube fan stuff. Someone took Cruel Angel thesis and did an opening to part 6 when it was being drawn.
Really?
And it's super good. I'll have to show you after this. Oh, it's super good. And it's just it was from 2008. We're not gonna see that till 2021. And it's just JoJo fans are my favorite people because they might make memes that are sometimes really cringy, or some people who go Araki forgot, which is a meme that he always forgets something about a character's ability or a pre-established thing they can do, and he never uses it again. But Araki has memory problems. He even says that. He's like, 1, I could be really negative about this, or 2, I could look at this positively, and I will remember or reread things that I've never... if he forgets a book, he'll reread it, for the first time. And he'll be able to approach... He said something... He'll be approach any subject with fascination and with interest every single time. And...
See, that's cool.
Yeah, Rocky's really cool. He has a I'll say that in a second, but he rewrites every part of JoJo is different. Every single one. Part 1's horror, part 2's Indiana Jones, part 3 is around the world in 80 days, but you're trying to get to a vampire in 30. And then it's a murder mystery.
That would be the best title for the book. Around the world in 80 days, but you're trying to get to a vampire in 30. I want you to write that book now.
That would just be JoJo part 3, dude. Part 4 is a murder mystery. Part 5 is a crime drama. Part 6 is a prison drama. Part
7 is Hidalgo.
Part 7 is Hidalgo with crazy abilities, and part 8 is this weird town that's very strange, and it's all this weird stuff going on. It's
Stranger Things.
Every part rewrites itself, and that's the beauty of JoJo. I never feel every single time I go into a new part, it feels like it's a whole new adventure, whole new cast of characters, whole new interest, whole new abilities, whole new interactions between characters. There might be some shout outs to old characters, but it's just every part is so different, and a lot of shows could wish they had that variety. They wish they had it so they could retain it. But the thing is, you lose the main character everyone cares so much about. No one cares about the main character in shows. Everyone cares about some side character. Guarantee it. Every single time I've talked to someone about My Hero Academia, guess who they don't say is their favorite character? Deku. Every single time.
It's usually Bakugo or
I
whatever.
freaking hate Bakugo. Or the fire.
He just yells a lot. Oh yeah, Fire and Ice Guy?
Yeah, I like him. I mean,
Toradoki.
Yeah, Toradoki. Everyone likes Toradoki more than anyone else. It's just like,
well, he has a sad history.
But that is something you can get behind.
Yeah.
Deku's, I never had a quirk. Cry about it, kid. There's a lot of people who don't have quirks.
Yeah, it's like you're not the only one. There, like it's like 7% of the population or something like that. Like, where are these other 7 people? Why don't you go to regular school with them?
And it's just like, and honestly, the biggest fault for a lot of shows is when you think the main character and the main antagonist is better than the protagonist. That's when it's a bad show. That's when it's a bad show. It's when you like the protagonist. Like that is when I can say I like Part 4 a lot. Jotaro is still in Part 4, so it saves it. But Part 4. Yoshikaga Kira is probably the best villain in any show I've ever watched. Because he's a serial killer, but he's written so well that he's creepy. As he should be.
One would hope a serial killer is.
He's because he's obsessed with hands. Like he's kept all his fingernail clippings from like 20 years. When he kills a woman, he just keeps her hand and keeps it in a suit jacket and talks to it like it's his lover.
Like you do.
Yeah, and so it's like that makes him strange. It makes him weird. And all he wants is a quiet life, to be left alone. He just wants a quiet life and kill bitches.
You said that so calmly.
Yeah, that's how you do it. He just wants a quiet life and kill some girls, take their hands on a walk, eat a Subway sandwich with her.
Take some hands on a walk.
He wants to eat a Subway sandwich with a hand cupping it and eat it.
Someone needs to get him one of those little hand things where you can put your phone on it, so it looks like you're taking a picture like this.
Yeah, dude, that's good stuff. It's like, but he also is Killer Queen, and like his parts are so good, and like that is like the perfect villain next to Dio. Dio is even great because like he's despicable, but he's also charming. There is a charm to Dio. Like when you can do that, when you can make someone so hateable, but there's something likable about that character. It's just like that is good. That is when it's really good. I mean, I guarantee most people who just like most of the time antagonists are there to
just be a bad guy.
Fulfill the end of the plot. And JoJo never is like that. Even Diavolo, who I don't like that much, but he has like multiple personality disorder that makes him super interesting, but I just don't like his character that much. But he's got King Crimson, my favorite stand. And so it's just like that. That's when it's like, but like even when they're at its worst, the villains are at their best. So it's like, and it's just like JoJo is like a multifaceted, interesting show, and I honestly can gush about it all day. It's like if someone asks me what my favorite thing is, I have a lot of favorites, like favorite music, favorite games, favorite movies, favorite this. But if someone asks me my favorite thing, probably JoJo. Probably okay. JoJo's my favorite thing because the manga's amazing, the sub of the anime is great, even the dub's pretty serviceable. And then, like, there's just tons of memes, tons of stuff about it. And, like, you have people who make theories, and it's just, like, you could pin stands against each other all day because they're so different. Mm-hmm. It's like if you took two shows and made characters fight. That's how different they are, usually. And so, but that's always interesting to think how the mental gymnastics work. Who would get the upper hand? Who's smarter? Who would think about their stands in more interesting ways? Like, so there's Dio who can stop time for about 5 seconds. And then there's Diavolo who can see the future 10 seconds ahead and can delete himself from 5 seconds. So it's like, if you would attack him, it's like you would just do what you normally do, but he wouldn't exist in that time frame.
He would just be 5 seconds somewhere else.
I'll explain it. So he can see the future, 10 seconds, right? And you will fulfill your destiny like a blind person. Like, you would just do what you would do in those 5 seconds. You would be out of consciousness, and then you'd come back into talk. You just black out for 5 seconds. But then you would come back to when he comes back in. It's like you would stand rush or do a bunch of punches, and he wouldn't be there, and he'd be behind you when you come back to. So he always has the upper hand.
So how do you beat him?
You break the show and get a new ability. But that's what I love.
That's like, the best way to do it.
No, because he's so powerful. How do you beat him? You said the exact thing that everyone else has on their mind. How do you beat King Crimson? And I thought that too. It's like, how in the world do you beat King Crimson? You can't beat King Crimson. That's why I like it so much. Is because it's just like there's never been a stand that powerful yet. They're just like, you just can't.
Is there a stand that can stop all other stands?
Here's a notation of spoiler alert. This is a big spoiler for part 5. Okay, so there's what's called the stand arrow that you could shoot somebody with, and if they survive it being pulled out, they get a stand. or they just perish from their own like conflict of will. So if you're fighting spirit strong,
or the fact that they got shot with an arrow.
No, it's really not that.
Oh, okay.
That's
like
Deus Ex Machina. We're cutting that out.
Okay.
I'm being real. Like you just cut that out. The equation of them dying by the stand arrow. So they get shot if they're fighting spirit strong enough. You pull it out. You got to stand. Or you die, or you perish from your own conflict of will. So what happens if you shoot a stand with a stand arrow? Good question, because the stand arrow chooses you. If your determination and strength, like if you have a desire to do something so badly beyond anyone else, it'll be drawn to you. The stand arrow will come to you, like magically come to you, like kind of like Aku stand arrow. Like it'll appear in like your piece of clothing, and then you'll pierce your stand with it, and you'll get a requiem stand that'll grant an ability that is perfect for achieving what you want. So like John Pierre Polnareff wants to get the stand arrow away from Diavolo, the main antagonist, because he's afraid what would happen if King Crimson got pierced with the stand arrow. And he pierces Silver Chariot, and Silver Chariot Requiem is the perfect stand from keeping the stand arrow away from people.
What does he do?
It's like I haven't read it in a long time, and it's kind of convoluted, but it's like you can't even approach him unless like you do a certain action. Then you're permitted to approach him, and then he's destroyed, and you can get the stand arrow. So it's like you have to. It's like this trick of light, and you have to destroy this object behind you.
Okay.
So it's like it's really interesting in the moment. Like JoJo always is like that sounds lame, but when you read it or watch it, it always is fulfilling. You're like, oh, that was really cool because they explain it in context so much better. It's like Metal Gear. If you read the Metal Gear book, that's lame. This sounds lame. And when you play it, it's so much more fulfilled because there's build up to the intense moments. There's fleshing out of characters. There's so much more that goes to the show than just what happens.
Yeah.
And so Giorno gets it, and his one desire is to guess what? Beat freaking Diavolo. So he pierces it. He gets his ability is called Null and Void, and so he reverses all aggression done to him. Abilities or anything cannot be done to him.
Okay.
So it just reverses you. Like if you punch him, your just arm comes backward. Like nothing happens. It just reverses the aggression. His next ability is if he hits you, you go into a death cycle. You'll die, you'll come back alive, and then die. You'll just keep dying for eternity. Most powerful, because you can't do anything to him, and he insta-kills you. And you die forever. I don't think Diavolo deserved that second bit, but that first ability, what do you do? It's like Goku couldn't even hurt him. No one could hurt him. And pissed me off, Josh. It was like the top 10 most powerful characters in Shonen. Guess who was number 1?
Goku.
Of course.
Always Goku.
No, it'd be Gorno, because technically you can't even hurt him. I mean, what do you do? You can't physically hurt the guy. Like, even if you wanted to, even like, if he set a trap, like, it would still be nullified. Like,
was there any JoJo at all on that list?
He was like number 5. Giorno Giovanna with Gold Experience Requiem was like number 5. And then like Dio was like number 10. Because he's a vampire and has the world. Because technically, Jotaro can stop time too. But he's not a vampire. Dio is. So Dio's very strong in his own right, let alone his stand. So, and then there's like Naruto. Freaking hate Naruto. I just find Naruto lame. I don't like Naruto. And the whole show revolves around him, and he's not a likable character.
No, he's
Guess
not.
what? We're talking about lame motivations. Guess what Naruto wants?
I want to be Hokage.
There you
and you're
go.
like, but why? So I could show everybody that was mean to me growing up.
So I can fit into society. That's essentially it.
Like,
so he can be liked. That's all. He's Michael Scott.
Yeah.
He just wants to be liked. That's my current manager. All she wants to do is be liked, and even though she's not the greatest manager. But anyway, it's just. I mean, the Requiem stuff kind of breaks JoJo, and that's why I think he never talks about it again, because it never happens in Part 6. Like, I like the concept. I think it was just cool that he introduced it, so I can just theorize. I mean, like, because it's just like, what would happen to this stand? It's like, it doesn't really matter. If your motivation was the same motivation as someone else, and you had this great desire to do it, and you were passed by the standard, you were both pierced, you'd probably have the same ability. Feasibly, because it's not about your stand, it's about your desire. And I think that's cool. I think that's
who's the main guy? Like, so Jonathan is our first Joestar.
Jonathan is
he becomes a stand for who?
No.
I don't know. They look very similar.
Jonathan? Jonathan becomes a Stand? Or is it Star Platinum?
It's Star Platinum, but he looks remarkably like Jonathan.
So it's like Jonathan actually is the symbol of justice through the entire show. He's there to like symbolize a fighting spirit for justice. Because he is like, if that's his remarkable trait, is he wants justice for the things that Dio's done. And then part 2 is Joseph, and he's just kind of in it to save the world. He kind of gets roped into it, and then he learns,
I don't want to save the world,
but then he learns about his family history, and he's willing to fight and destroy the vampires because he knows that's what he needs to do. And then part 3 is Jotaro, and he's in it to save his mom, but he's super tsundere. He's tsundere as F, and he's like, I don't love you, Mom. But then it turns around and says, are you okay, Mom? It's like, Jotaro, you're a... He's
Does he ever call her Baka? Because that would be amazing.
No.
It's like, I don't love you,
No, he's just cold. He's just really cold.
Okay.
Like, kind of like the rebel cold. You know, like those biker gang character colds.
Gotcha. So he's Billy Idol.
Yeah. And then he discovers his mom is sick because her Stand is destroying her because her fighting spirit's not that strong. So they go on a trip to Egypt to kill Dio because he's activated all the family Stands. And that's what's cool. And so he's like trying to save his mom. And even at his worst, all he wants to do is save his mom. And then part 4, like Josuke wants to protect his town because Yoshikage is destroying it, which is pretty lame. Even Giorno's is better, where he's trying to become a gangster to stop the drug crime and all this stuff in Italy. And then Jolene wants to save her dad and to destroy Enrico Pucci because he almost kills Jotaro. And this was like, every character has pretty decent motivations. Like, and Johnny wants to walk again. I mean, that's so relatable.
It's like, I just want to walk.
And then he discovers the plot to gather the corpse of Jesus, and then like gain that.
The fact that the president of the United States wants to get all the pieces of Jesus.
He's got scars on his back that are the flag. It's the flag, dude. Freaking radical. It's freaking sick, yo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is great. But it's just like, and then he discovers he wants to collect the corpse, and then he feels a sense of justice to stop it. And then part 8 is just like, now you thought part 7 was confusing. Like part 8, it introduces equivalent exchange into JoJo. So Josuke from part 4 and the main antagonist Yoshikage Kira, the remade versions, the revamped versions, they eat what's called a rokaka fruit, which allows you to perform equivalent exchange. Like if your leg was destroyed, it like you get a new leg, but you'd like lose your lower jaw.
Okay.
It's like that's what happens to like a professional athlete who eats it. But then like they fuse together. Like they become one person because Yoshikage Kira is dead. So it takes the entire life force of Josuke, bringing him back to life to become one person. So they get a fusion stand. You get a fusion. You freaking got the dudes doing the dance and everything. Just like the girl and the dog in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I want that shirt, dude.
No.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's so bad.
No, it's so good, dude. It's great. I'm like,
oh, man.
Especially because how happy they look. They're like, yeah!
Yeah, it's like, this will be fun. And you're like, no, it's not going to be fun.
My friend gets mad at me when I say that I can't get into Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because like I know it's establishing the lore of why the Philosopher's Stone is a bad deal. But it's just like, it's so boring getting... Like, the first, 6 episodes, like, I'm so bored right now.
Yeah, that's why it's like, don't watch Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist
I'm watching Brotherhood, too. And it's like, but that's the same thing. It's establishing it.
But they get through it a lot quicker than the first.
I just want to get to where they kill all the deadly sins and crap.
Oh, that's 7 deadly sins.
But there's not 7.
No.
It's like 4 of them.
Yeah, there's like 4.
But it's just like... And then so, like, it's him... discovering like his mom, like Yoshikage Kira's mom, and then him developing a sense of justice to protect her, and all the stuff about rock people. Like there's like it's just like an ancient people who can like turn into a rock and like go like essentially hibernate, where they can go into a catatonic state for like 6 months, but they're like and they can turn to rock. It's weird, but it's like.
Well, I mean, like you do.
But the thing is, he hasn't done enough with it to like make it super interesting. But at the same time, I don't mind it because like there's some really cool encounters with it because it's like it seems like kind of like Illuminati-esque. Like there's a secret organization trying to control the fruit, like control the equivalent exchange because they're making tons of money off of it. And so they're like the secret, shadowy, unhuman organization with really crazy abilities, and they're trying to figure out who they are, what their objectives are, and he changed how the abilities worked again. And I love it. It's my favorite version of the abilities, because you know what you have to use your ability?
What?
Either your stand has to touch you, or I have to touch you or your stand for my stand to affect you. So,
okay, so now we took like
so instead of like ranges, like you still have range. Like if my ability could affect you for a certain distance, but I initially have to touch you or your stand. Yes.
Or my stand can touch you.
Yeah, to affect you.
Okay.
It's super cool. It's like that's how simple.
They should have like a ninja stand who just
that's double wall.
He should come out and just be like...
double wall is based on how fast you're breathing. It creates a tornado.
Now, do they have to touch you each and every time?
No,
or like if I've touched you once...
My stand activates when I touch you. And then some people have autonomous stands where like their ability activates on you and you have to find and kill me. So like double wall, I touch you, and every time you breathe, or the faster you breathe, it'll create a small little tornado that you have to escape. Because it hits you, it'll start cutting you apart. So it's like you have to like manage your breathing and evade it, and then try to find me and stop me. But that's interesting though. It's like, so I have an autonomous stand that's going to kill you, so you have to hunt me down.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what JoJo is. It's like JoJo always has this arc of who's the stand user and how do I kill him. It's just like for a long time before I read part 6, it's like the perfect ability would be for you to lose like 5 seconds of your memory. So like you're fighting me, I make you lose 5 seconds. So you like have to think about what happened and if I'm the stand user. Because if you forgot I was the stand user, I have all the advantage, right? You can't do anything to me because you don't know if I'm the stand user or not.
Yeah.
Or if I'm the most flamboyantly dressed person in the room, obviously I'm probably the stand user. But anyway.
It's like I'm wearing leather. I'm wearing leather pants with a mesh top.
I'm posing dramatically.
Yeah, it's like,
and you're like, who's
that
this
may
guy?
be him.
And for all the viewers at home who couldn't see,
he totally posed.
Because like
I like when you said, "Who's this guy?" and he did a turn around too. It's like that's perfect.
It's like I was watching somebody watch part 5. He's like, it was okay when everyone's ripped. Now they're all doing poses and they're skinny. It's kind of like gay. I'm like, well, but because JoJo's always kind of like strayed masculinity, and like for a while there, it's like it doesn't bother me because all the characters are doing it with such conviction. Like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if they're straight dudes posing so dramatically that it looks like they're in such a strange pose. You're like, but it's so cool. Like it's so stylized and so interesting. Like every single thing, like it's based off, those poses are actual references, right? Like there's a pose that's like a Freddie Mercury pose, or like fashion poses. Like everything Araki has done is referential, but it's like at the same time that makes it so enjoyable. Like hearing Black Sabbath or freaking Dio itself, or there's just like King Crimson, like, and it helps you discover new music. Actually, like I actually didn't know I liked King Crimson until I heard the Stand King Crimson. I'm like, okay, I know that's a reference to a band, so I listened to it, and it's like super prog rock. Like it is like super prog rock. But there's like some songs, like the Court of the Crimson King is a super cool song, and like I swear everyone else along the community swears that when Araki wrote that song, it was to perfectly match the tempo of the song. It's like the reveal of King Crimson was to fit the song. Like if like in the show, like if you put it like the music in the background, it'd be perfect.
I bet someone's done that.
Oh yeah, like everyone's done it to the video games where King Crimson shows up and wrecks you. Because King Crimson, like, it's already been in the show, so I'm not worried about this. Like, so a character's trying to protect Triss, which is his daughter, and then he's trying to kill his daughter because it's the only thing that could identify him.
So he's trying to kill his daughter. So
he can be... No one would know it's him. No one knows the boss. He only know, like, his surrogates, like, tell you what to do that he wants you to do, but no one's seen him. But everyone's terrified of him because he's King Crimson. Obviously, he's very powerful. And so, like, Bruno's trying to protect Triss, and he attacks the boss, and then he's behind him and, like, literally chops him in half. Like, down here, like, down his chest, and then slams his fist through his chest. Bruno makes it to the end of the show, though. Freaking radical, dude. He's freaking messed up. It's just like... But that's just like... Because Bruno, up until that point, is probably the strongest member of the group. Because he's like... Have you seen his ability? He can create zippers on any surface.
Oh, he's the zipper guy. Okay, I've seen like like anime gifs.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
gosh, everyone like loves him. Like one dude like X-Force, a guy who talks online all about JoJo, and he's like his favorite stand is zipper. It's actually Sticky Fingers, not Zipper Man. But so like it's just like that's such a cool ability, and you can do so much with that. He can make pocket dimensions in himself. He can do all this stuff, but. Like, he comes off so competently. He wins a whole fight, and it's like one of the Grateful Dead and the Beach Boys fight is so good.
Are the Beach Boys, are those 3 dudes on that ship that do that super cool dance pose thing?
No, okay.
Who are those guys? Because those guys are dope. I watched
that's Mista Fuga and Naren Seti. And they have Aerosmith to Naren Seti, you have Purple Haze to Fugo, and you have Sex Pistols to Mista. Mista's my boy.
That's freaking awesome.
And so... They do the dance, but then this Beach Boys is this pineapple-looking dude who has if you saw him, you know what I mean. And it's a fishing rod. But he can latently lay the line in an object. And it can go through objects, like the line can go through objects. So let's say, like, there's a light switch. He could latently lay the hook in there, so if you flip the light switch, it would hook into you. And then it starts going up your veins. And he's, like, reeling in, he's, like, fishing. And if it gets to your heart, he can yank it and kill you.
Damn.
So he beats him by like disassembling his entire body and stopping his heart. And then he like comes back and kicks his ass. But it's just like that is why Bruno's like, Bruno can stop anybody. Like Bruno's so freaking good, he can beat anybody. And then King Crimson just comes out of nowhere and just obliterates him. That's in like 2 seconds. And you're like, this is like the most powerful stand you've seen in the entire show. You know, like that's like that is why the weight of JoJo is so good. Like, because characters don't just get like in a lot of shows, like you get punched or you get hit, and it's like, oh, it's no big deal. But in JoJo's, like characters are getting like cut apart, or like as soon as a stand rush hits, it's over. As soon as you get like, as soon as they do the or it's over. The fight's over because there's no way they can come back from that. And there's that weight in the combat. It's super satisfying. Sure, the fight's like, I can get my leg cut apart, but I can still stand on it. It's like, yeah, but that's in everything. That's not just the fault of JoJo, because everyone has willpower. Like, anime's Deus Ex Machina.
Gohan had his arm shattered and was still able to, like, super Kamehameha.
Hey, man, the Cell fight's about where everyone should stop. And
yeah, like, after the Cell fight, you're just like, done. That's
Majin Buu's not as cool.
No, Majin Buu was bad.
And, like, sure, he's super powerful, but it's like, there's always... Go, freaking, like, Ultra Instinct, and they're still trying to struggle to make it fights hard for him. It's like, he's literally beating a god. And now you're throwing other Saiyans that are just, like, infinitely more powerful. Like, what the hell is going on in the show?
Yeah, I've not watched, like, the super stuff, because I'm just like...
Because, honestly, I think they're desperate at this point. Because
yeah, they're trying to make money. And
it's like, they're desperate to keep this fan base that it loves the original Z. And I think, like, there's some decent bits. Like, I like Tien. And I know you like...
I like my boy Yamcha. Nobody else does.
I know you like Yamcha. I like Tien because he's just a dude.
Exactly. Like,
he's the biggest tryhard in the entire freaking...
That's why I love Yamcha, because I'm just like, he's just a man.
Like, yeah, and, like, Tien holds down Cell for a long freaking time. That's what's cool.
And
like,
Yamcha made a crater.
Yeah, it's like, that's cool, man. Like, I like that. Like,
I will say that is one thing that Dragon Ball Z does. They do put weight on things.
Oh yeah,
because they'll kill. But I mean, it's also one of those where we're like, well, that person's probably going to come back in like the end of the season because that's what happened. But at the time, they're just like, oh no, he's dead, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's just like I like that aspect of it. It's just, I mean, I think there's good things to all shows. I think there's an aspect of all shows that can be good, but it's just like when there's multiple aspects that culminate into a show being great. It's like, I said this a long time, there's a difference between something being great and something being fun. Like, I don't necessarily say that Gurren Lagann is the best show ever made, but boy howdy is it hype and fun as crap.
Yes, it
is so hype. It is like, honestly, if someone's like, if you don't feel anything during the anti-spiral fight or everyone dying up to that point, and like,
oh god, when everybody dies at the end of Gurren Lagann, you're just like,
when the blonde-haired dude like sacrifices himself, it's like you feel that because it's so hype, and I'm like, this trail is my soul. You're like, there's like something that weight in like
Spoiler for Gurren Lagann.
freaking yeah, no.
Like all of the members of Team Decker and Time.
It's like do you watch Kill la Kill?
No.
Okay.
It's in the thing. It seems very
It's Gurren Lagann again.
Okay.
No joke. Like every Trigger show I've ever watched is the same show.
Well, see, it's weird.
Have you watched Space Patrol Lucolo?
No.
Watch that. It's only like every episode's 6 minutes.
Trigger's so weird with their stuff
because there's the plot twist. There's always a plot twist where the antagonists are actually the good guys, the initial, and then there's a bigger antagonist.
Yeah.
And that the bad guys at the beginning you thought are actually trying to stop them. That's the plot twist in every single show.
Well, it's weird because like it doesn't really go like that in SSX Gridman, which is like their newest show.
Well, I'm sure like
because they were like, let's wipe our hands off of Darling and the Franks, and then they're like, Gridman.
Because I mean, Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann are the same show. So Space Patrol Lucolo has the same plot beats too, and it's just like. I mean, honestly, if I was going to recommend one, it'd probably be Space Patrol Lucolo because it's just about a little girl trying to find love and it's cute. And it's quick. You can watch it. You can watch it in an hour. But then there's
that's the one where it was like a web series. So they're only like 5 minutes.
It's really good. It's really well animated. It's cute. But then you got Gurren Lagann, which is like if you want a full length show, like. But I'm a mech man. Like I like mechs. Like. Breaks my heart about video games is that there's no good mech games.
No.
But it's like and also Gurren Lagann's hype is crap. I like Gurren Lagann because the drills are super interesting. It's not like every other mech. Like I got a laser sword. I'm a freaking Gundam boy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Gundam Thunderbolt?
No.
We should watch that. I have it. I have the Blu-ray of Gundam Thunderbolt season, like the first movie, because they're movies. They're shows in Japan, but we get the movies. You're not really missing much watching the shows, but like, it's like. The main character is actually a Zod.
Like,
yeah, the antagonist of the original series is the main character. You like him better than the Gundam pilot. Because, you know what I like better than Gundams? You know what I like better than? Zaku's. Zaku's are better.
Well, dude, it's like...
the eye is so cool.
Well, it's one of those, like, my favorite character...
That's a controversial opinion. I'm going to get
Oh, no. Are you ready for this one? I got your beat. My favorite character in Gundam Wing was Trace Kushanada. I absolutely loved him, man. He was the best. I mean, like he's just like
he's got heavy gear.
Exactly. I'm sitting here. I'm like. Plus that tall geese when he gets that freaking sniper rifle, I'm like, that thing's a BA mother, and he's just like,
oh, Trace.
Yeah. Well, then freaking Wu Fei or whatever, Wu Tang or whatever the hell his name is.
Wu Fei is just angsty.
I hate him. Oh, God, he's so bad.
It's like, oh, yeah, he does. Oh, Trace does pilot tall geese. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like, Trace is just like he's such like the emo character, but I like how cool he is.
Oh, yeah, he's super cool.
It's like Hero, but less angsty. Like, that's why I like Trace. But it's just, I love heavy gear. Like, it's the most practical of all the Gundams. Like, everyone's like, no, well, he's got ammo. It's like, yeah, freaking, everyone's got energy weapons. What is the reactor core gonna work? Like, I've played Armored Core, right? And I've known how to manage ammo counts and reactor power, and both are totally viable options for long range missions. And it's just like, I like Gundam. Like, Gundam Wing is cool. It's just like, I'm rewatching Endless Waltz, and I forget what the line is, but when they're talking about the stuff coming into the atmosphere, it was so freaking funny. Oh man, and that PS1 meteor is so.
Oh my god,
that PS and then, watching freaking, I love seeing like old graphics, like watching Cowboy Bebop, and you got the Mode 7 Earth, like Mars. It's so good.
Did you go to the Gundam Wing thing with us?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you were at the Gundam Wing. Oh my gosh,
and I was there for
that was the best dub I've ever seen.
It's
like still, like it's
they're
so
coming in the atmosphere. It's like, whoa, dude.
It's like, man,
did he just pulled some random surfer guy off the street? I did. I would love to do like, I don't know if I.
Oh, what was it like?
I love doing my heavy, boisterous, like Space Marine voice because it's always, yes, we shall embark in a glorious battle, friend. I would love the character to voice like that because that'd be hilarious. Like,
oh man,
like that's just Armstrong from. I love Armstrong. I always thought he was such a stupid character when I was a kid, but now I'm an adult seeing Armstrong just like. Freaking just, he is such a freaking great character.
See, it's one of those where it's like in Full Metal Alchemist, like Ed and Al, they're there.
Yeah.
But the majority of the story is all of the secondary
Everyone
characters.
likes Roy better than
Like, everyone loves Roy. Like, I love Havoc. Havoc is my favorite character.
Dude, you just like Havoc
when he gets the wheelchair later. Oh, but like it's weird. Like,
he's
my
just
favorite.
the doting dad. The doting dad character is always like the best.
No, not Maze. I love Maze.
Okay.
Maze, and when he died, I
Havoc,
broke.
Havoc. Oh,
he's the. Did you watch the first Full Metal Alchemist?
I know enough. If you
Okay,
describe him.
he's the one who always has the cigarette in his mouth, blonde-haired dude.
Oh yeah.
He gets paralyzed, so he's in a wheelchair. In the original series, there was an episode that was just the military people. It was one whole episode, 2 parts, and it was just the dudes in the military.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So Ed,
and there was
Ed is Ed is a part of the military, but he's like a freelance dude.
Yeah, it's weird. He's a state alchemist.
He's not.
Well, he's like 5.
Yeah, but he's better than half the people in the show. Like, honestly, like, if Roy and Ed would fight, they'd probably.
Well, they did,
but
it'd
be a stalemate because they're both super competent alchemists. Except Roy only has one dig.
Yeah, he's just like.
It's like, but then like the reason why I like Ed because he's adaptable. I like him because he's intelligent. Like I like the smart character in shows because usually I think they're underappreciated. Like my favorite video game of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles, and Shulk is the smart character, and he's the main character, and that is like the person who's leading.
Nobody likes Shulk.
The person no one likes Shulk, but I think he's very much like Harry Potter. He's the ultimate good. He would never do something wrong to justify the ends over the means.
But that's not Harry Potter.
But no,
because he would do that.
No, Harry wanted like Harry.
Yeah, he would.
He didn't use the Resurrection Stone when he fought. He dropped it, dude. He refused to use it because that just like.
Yeah, I guess he did cut up Draco in a men's room though, or women's room.
But he freaking didn't kill him. Like like.
Well, just because you don't kill anybody, it's like I shot him in the leg, but he's not dead.
It's like, but at the same time, it's just like Harry might have done some questionable things, but he's not gonna do something truly evil. Like it's like if this bus crashes, freaking Voldemort would die, and he's like, yeah, let's crash the bus.
Yeah,
he'd find another way. Like he'd find a better way to solve the problem,
and he would let you know that his parents died.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Hannah's not gonna like this podcast. But it's just
like, oh yeah, that's right, she does love Harry.
Yeah, Hannah says Harry's the best character, and she at the end of the day, who can judge what character you like? And it's the same thing with Ryan. Like Ryan is the best friend character, but he's such a lovable kind of oaf, but he's so dedicated to protect Shulk. I mean, that's a lovable attribute. Like all he wants to do is protect his friend and be by his side the entire journey. And like, there's no fault with that character.
No, not at all.
It's like every character has like a trope, like. Fiora dies at the beginning, like the main, and that's not even a spoiler because she dies so soon. Like
so, Eris
2 dies, but she comes back later. And that's a big spoiler though. But at the same time, it's just like when she dies, and he like the dude who does Shulk's voice acting is, man, you're like a 10 out of 10. If you ever listen to this podcast, I adore you because you've made one of my favorite video game characters ever with just your voice. But it's just his scream for Fiora when she dies is just like you feel that so deep in your gut that like. You want the vengeance too, not just like Shulk wants vengeance. You want it too because like that was such like a meaningful cry of despair. And it's like, man, I love good storytelling. Gosh, that is my favorite thing is when someone like can evoke a meaningful emotion through just like a character saying something or like a character being insightful or deep. This is like that doesn't feel contrived or shoehorned in for the sake of it being there when it's actually like when the writer really meant for you to gain something or feel something in a moment, not just like that's when it's truly meaningful. I played a video game called, what was it called? Oh, Rockawin. Don't play that game. Don't play that game.
Don't play it.
Because one, it's very emotional because it's about a child in a hospital who has cancer. And it's about his mom reading a story, and they go to Rockawin, where it's like this land, and he dies at the end. He dies of cancer, but it's about like this journey through the land of like making everyone's life in the hospital better through his like own experience, and it's just like his dad dying during the earthquake in Japan, and he's one of the few people who stayed in the reactor to stop it from melting down, but who died. And so it's like, but sometimes it feels contrived. Like you're trying to evoke a feeling of loss from me, because one, you're dealing with cancer, so it's easy shot. It's an easy shot to make me feel really sad and sorrowful for a child who should never have to deal with that. But at the same time, it's just like, it handles it so well, I give it a pass. Because, like, there's a lot of talk about heroes, and at the very end of the game, he says, "Mom, you're my hero." And it's like, guts me every single time. Every single time I think about that scene, it guts me, because it builds it so tastefully. Because there's a lot of, sometimes you play as the mom, trying to protect her son from the feel, like, this character comes at night and talks to the little boy, and it's himself. And it's just, like, despair. And so it's like, it does it so well to emphasize different emotions that this child is feeling, instead of just being like, I'm getting cancer and I'm gonna die. It's like, oh, that's sad.
Well, it's kind of like we got to see Modest Heroes for the animation as film thing, and there's a part in that where, like, it's 3 short films.
Yeah.
Like, one's like, we're gonna do stylized here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to, like, so this is all the stuff we can do with water, basically.
Yeah.
And then there's one where they're like, this is the one we're gonna tell you about story and how we can write a story. Okay. It was all Studio Panok, which is a bunch of people that left Ghibli when Miyazaki was like, I'm done. They were like, deuces, we're out, and they started a new studio.
I mean, fair enough. Like, they need to do their own thing. They love animation. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the third one is, okay, we took the visuals from the first one and the story from the second one, and we combined them, and here's the third one. So the second one it's about a little boy who is allergic to eggs in Japan, where eggs are a big staple of the diet. Yeah. So it starts off like, he's born, and they're like, oh, yay, and then, like, formula is like, allergic. So then it's this mom, basically, there's like this, it's only like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
So there's this good chunk of the film where it's like him growing up, just be like, no, you can't have that. No, you can't have that. Or it's like, he'll eat something like, oh, this has eggs in it now? Are you kidding me? And then, like, a whole big thing, like, he goes to a birthday party, has cake, eggs.
Yeah.
And so, like, this whole entire thing, and, like, you feel so...
like he's cheated.
Yes, and you're just like, oh my gosh. It brings out a lot of emotion. And then, like, because his mom wants to be a dancer.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to live her life dancing, but she's having to take care of this kid. Where normally she would just be like, all right, kid, be on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, not like be on your own, but like, you can kind of take care of yourself. Because you don't have to watch what you eat.
She's trying to be a good mom at the same time.
Exactly. So, like, there's a part where she's at this big audition and everything, and he's watching her, and, like, there's these cookies on the table.
Yeah.
And he goes to reach for this cookie and, like, is about to go eat it, and she, like, has to, like, run through during the audition. It's like, stop, you can't eat that. And he's just like, oh yeah, there's probably there's probably eggs in that. And it's like this whole big thing. And
because I watched something where
it's just so good, and it's very, you know, heart-rending, because you're just like, oh my goodness.
That reminds me of a video I watched where, like, someone was talking about, like, when we feel emotions in a movie or something we're watching. It's like, he had a decent point. I don't think this is true for everything, but when you feel a sense of injustice. Like, she's being a good mom and trying to do her own thing. So there's a sense of injustice when her son has to be taken so cared of. Exactly. Or her son, like, is just naturally allergic to something, where it be in everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and, like, because you get it from both fronts.
Yeah.
You get it from, like, the mom who's like, man, I gotta take care of my son.
But she is trying to be a good mom.
Exactly. And then you have it from the kid too, and he's just like, this sucks. Like, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
he can't have any sweets, because 95, besides chocolate, but Japanese chocolate's so different than American chocolate.
It's like, ours isn't, like, they don't have wax chocolate like we do.
Yeah, but who cares, man? It's freaking great. Have you had a hug?
Hugs are delicious. I love
hugs are my highest tier.
See, it's weird, like, our white chocolate is better than, like,
most regular chocolate,
our regular chocolate here, but when you have white chocolate, because my grandma would get white chocolate from Spain, because like, she would have it imported over because she was from Spain, and so she would have it, and we would have, like, white chocolate that was from Spain, and it's like, this is the most delicious thing I've ever had.
It's just the byproduct of fat from the actual processing of chocolate,
and you're just like, it's so good. Like, chocolate's so much better. But anyway,
but they had, like, mass producing something, anything is gonna, like, besides artisan's always going to be better than mass produced. But it's like, we got some pretty fire mass produced chocolate for what it is, it's pretty dang good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Ferrero Rocher now, it's like the fact that you know what blew my mind.
Yeah.
That I found out like maybe like 2 months ago. You know the chocolate that is in a Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah.
That's not chocolate.
Yeah, it's just
it's Nutella.
Yeah.
And I'm just
showed
like
me a video.
I
She was trying to remake it. And it was
that
Nutella.
like oh yeah that's where I learned it, and like, it blew my mind. I was like, that's freaking Nutella.
It's like
what?
what?
I love Nutella.
I don't like.
I've never had Nutella except in a Ferrero Rocher.
Nutella. The problem with Nutella is like it ages so quickly, and then the oil separates like peanut butter, right?
Okay, so you gotta like eat it really quick, right?
Oh yeah, because then the hazelnut like oil is so bitter. So it's like it's not sweet, it's so bitter. So it's like you have to eat it quick.
Well,
But
they have those Nutella
but peanut
like
butter,
little
peanut butter
bitty things.
reincorporates super easily. You just whip peanut
You just
butter,
whip.
and then and peanut butter's great. But like oil from hazelnut going back into Nutella is super hard, and so it's just not as good. Like you have to eat it quick, but who wants to eat that much Nutella? Like, what do you eat Nutella?
Well,
on?
that's why you get the little Nutella cup things.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Like if someone ate just those, and like, I like Nutella, like that's the way to do it. Instead of having the huge jars, like, what do you even put it on? Like graham crackers?
I guess. I mean, it's like,
even then, like-
what would you put peanut butter on? You know,
Bread. But like you wouldn't put a sweet spread like besides jam on bread though. I guess you could put it on toast. It wouldn't be bad on toast.
It wouldn't be bound toast, like or like one of those Eggo waffles.
Yeah.
would be pretty good.
Oh, that's
probably.
pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever had peanut butter on a freaking pancake?
I've never had peanut butter on a pancake.
Have you had it on French toast?
No.
Wow, you should try that. It's good.
See, I'm weird when it comes to like
I don't
French
like
toast.
boomerang because boomerang's kind of crap. And I'm not saying I work there or not, but it's like I just eaten there so much. Just I've gotten tired of it. Nothing against boomerang. It's just I'm tired of the food. I've eaten it so much. It's like I ate grilled chicken sandwiches pretty much every day because it's like the only thing I like. But they got good pancakes and good French toast. That's the only thing I'll endorse. And so it's like if someone's like, if you put some peanut butter on them, good stuff. Good stuff.
You should go to Beverly's.
Never heard of it.
It's a 24-hour
Breakfast?
well, it's just 24-hour diner that's like right over here on Expressway.
Huh?
It's open 24 hours and it's the best. Like I think I've taken Hannah there maybe like one or two times.
I like how this is we turned into a food podcast.
You know,
fast.
like we said on all of our episodes, the tangents.
No, like as Corey Spaz Kid once said, tangents evolve, and that's the point of a podcast.
Exactly.
And like, I mean, I can understand someone who wants a really focused podcast, right? But usually,
those get boring because like that's like our original episodes were just like we are only going to talk about this thing, and they're not really they'll hold
butt
up
into
well.
you because like for me, when I listen to a podcast, I want it to be a conversation. I want to feel like I'm part of sitting in a room as people talk about things they enjoy. Like we've gone through like a million subjects today, and this is why I want it. I didn't want like.
Yeah, this is why I wanted you on here.
Yeah, like I love podcasts like JoJo. I love JoJo, and we talked about plenty like about all I can before. Like if you watch the show, we could gush about certain parts you liked.
Yeah,
but that doesn't bother me that we couldn't. Like like I love.
And it's like, and I want to. It's on the list of stuff that I need to do. But I mean,
and I'm glad you
so
enjoyed
much
it. Like,
going on. Yeah.
See, like I usually very very rarely go, you should try this, because usually I take into account what someone likes. Like my friend Tyler, like we play video games all the time, and I know what he likes in a game, and I know what I like in a game. And if I play a game, ooh, that was a really good game, I'd be walking on eggshells to go, Tyler, play this game. Because usually, like, I don't recommend games to people, because most of the time, I don't know what you like, I don't know if you're going to like it, and I don't like when someone goes, I didn't like that game. It doesn't hurt me, it just like, I just wish you could have liked it like I could so we could talk about it. And so very rarely would I be like, you should try this. And so when JoJo's like my favorite thing, and so when I go, you should try this, please just try it once and get through part 1, because a lot of people struggle through part 1, but part 2 is so much better. But it's like if you can get the whiff of what it's about in part 1, then you're gonna really enjoy it, because like part 1 you get the campiness, you get some of these wacky elements, and it's weird, like Jack the Ripper exploding out of a horse with knives all over his body. He's freaking radical, and it's like, what the hell is going on? But it's great. Like that's what JoJo is. You gotta accept that. Oh, and it's just like that is when it sets the tone of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And usually, if I just don't like when people don't like what I like, because like I love to enjoy something with someone and talk about it. Just gush over something for hours and hours and hours, because that's what I like. Like talking with my friends is. I could drive my friend Andre home after we played a bunch of board games and talk about video games till like 1 a.m, and I drove him home at 9 o'clock. And that is just something I truly cherish, and having someone enjoy what I like is so we can just enjoy the conversation that comes from meeting someone of your own mindedness.
I agree.
Yeah.
And this was fun.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no, we're not done yet. We kind of there's a couple bits of news. First off, there was a new poster, and I think there was a trailer for Toy Story 4.
Oh, yeah. I don't really care.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, we're going to do it for the show.
I don't know why they made... No, I don't know why. What came into their minds? Like, Toy Story 4 would be a good idea.
Well, you know, like you do.
Toy Story 3 wasn't even that great.
Yeah.
Toy Story 2 is about as good as it gets, though.
Yeah.
About as good as Pixar movies get, Toy Story 2 is up there.
Yeah, I like Toy Story 2. Like, of the Toy Story movies...
Toy Story 1 is still, like, the conflict between Buzz and Woody is so long. But then Toy Story 2, like, that's already done. And you got the stupid Zurg fights. And you got, like, Stinky Pete, who's just, like, comes out of nowhere. But it's, like, the show, like, it builds it so well.
Yeah.
It's just, that is a really good movie.
Lalin's Curse is now... we did it's a webtoon.
Okay.
We did an interview with the artist and creator. She came on. She's from Spain.
Okay.
And so, like, the comic is based in Spain.
Okay.
And so...
Ladybug Cat Noir is based... It's
exactly.
written by French people, and it's in France.
Exactly. So, like, this... Like, she was featured, and it just came back. So, everybody can go watch... I think the first 3 chapters are out right now,
yeah.
and a prologue chapter. So, you can go and you can read all of those. Absolutely fantastic. It's on WEBTOON, which is absolutely free.
Okay.
So, Line, if you want to sponsor us, holler. Also, Room of Swords, which is another webtoon.
Okay.
They were on last week. They were last week's episode. Their season just started again. So season 2 is now up. So you can go read Room of Swords as well. What else was there? Oh, yeah. If you want to... We have our sister podcast, which is Hilt Radio. Congratulations to Liam and Brittany. They are having their second child.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So congrats to you guys.
Never met you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, they're great. They do a whole thing, Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel. So two of the things that I'm like, hey, there's there.
3 of the things I'm very meh on.
Yeah. But yeah, they're having a second baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
I'm gonna be the godfather, hopefully.
Well,
we can pray.
Well, talk about it in your podcast enough, and they're probably like, well, we kind of have
exactly.
to.
Now they have to. Then one of our other friends, we've done an episode with them, the Not Joanna Eggs Podcast, which is a Rescuers Down Under reference that they used for their podcast.
Okay.
So the Not Joanna...
It's been a long time since I've watched that.
I know, right? It's been like, and the fact that they were like, we're gonna go ahead because they wanted to be Animation Station.
Yeah, but you stole it.
But yeah, we were.
You sniped it first.
But yeah, so they had this whole they wanted to be Animation Station, but obviously we're like, no, we didn't do anything like that. But they reached out to us and we did an episode with them over the Black Cauldron and the Day of the Crows.
Man, Black Cauldron, that's a long time since I've seen it.
It's a fantastic
I've
movie.
seen bits and pieces, but I can recognize it being pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Was that Disney?
It was Disney. Yeah.
But that was the year. That was the age of the rotoscoping.
Yeah, that's when they were like, we're gonna tank everything, and we're gonna put 3D elements in there, like more CG elements.
Me and Hannah, we were watching. What was it? It was Robin Hood. It was Jungle Book. There was another one that we saw.
And they all have the same.
There was one that we saw recently that was like it was Sword in the Stone. All those have the same art style.
Yeah. Well, they also use the exact same
dance animations.
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind when someone pointed out to me. I was like, oh my gosh, just watch Robin Hood. It's the best one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Jungle Book. You can skip. Like you're not ever gonna miss anything. If
only
you miss
people
the
like
Jungle
that is because of the music, and the music's not even that good.
No, because they always like the
Robin Hood's just about as perfect as it gets for that age, because it's just like it's based off a good story. All the characters are good. Robin's really enjoyable. The female character's really strong and really enjoyable. This is just solid.
There's blind mice.
Oh yeah,
it's a win.
They're kawaii desu. Hey, Josh, I could have thrown in a lot more.
You could have thrown a lot more.
Like,
yeah.
Yoda Yoda does it. Or The World, though. Or we could have went Daisen no Bakunin Bites a Dusto.
And now we're going to
Toshiwa Yugeki Desu.
No, we're gonna have to end it now. But anyway, no, the Not Joanna Eggs, they did an episode on Big Fish and Begonia, which is like came out like 2016.
Yeah.
But it's like China's first like big animated project.
Okay.
And it was a lot of the animation and stuff was done by the people that did Avatar.
Okay.
So the same
that
like
Western
animation company.
Yeah.
Did Avatar did a lot of the stuff for
Okay.
Big Fish and Begonia, and I'm like, that's fantastic.
Because they're good.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, I mean, not Avatar. Did more Korra.
Yeah, but
not,
I mean, it's still the same studio, but at the same time, like, they got quality animation. If there's not one thing I will say bad about Avatar is the quality of animation.
Yes.
Voice acting and characters is when I call into question.
Hey, whoa. Who? I'm talking about my boy Sokka.
No, Sokka's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Sokka has good arcs. Has good arcs. Aang is there.
Aang, yeah, exactly. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm like, Aang's there.
Sakura. What's her name?
Oh god, what is her name?
But you know,
Katara.
Katara. She's false flat. But I mean,
well, that's just the way her character is written.
Toph and
Toph and Sokka are like the best.
Yeah. And too bad.
And Zuko.
Everyone
too.
shipped them. Even she shipped them.
When he's like, "Oh, Zuko, you saved me, kiss," and it's like, "I'm Suki." You're like, "You can let me drown now." It's like beautiful.
And it's like I mean, that's really cool. Like I like them. Like I didn't watch Voltron, but I was like, oh, I was
they did Voltron too.
I was tempted when I saw it was them. You know, like that speaks enough that I respect an animation company enough to when I see your animation style. Like even if Voltron looks whatever, but it's like when I see your animation, I'm like.
It's like, I
could give that a shot.
Oh man. Well, so Ben, I think you said earlier, no social media for you.
I only have a Twitter. It's been a long time since I've checked it. If you actually want to like talk or play games, like just add me on Steam. It's going to be Blood Light X, all one word. If like you got stuff on your library you want to play, I'd definitely try it out with you every once in a while. I'm busy, but I love video games. That's like the main way to reach me. You can add my Twitter if you want. It's just going to be the same handle, BloodlightX. That's pretty much on everything.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast. Twitter.
What a lame username, guys.
Shut up. Stop Blood plus the Last Vampire, whatever the heck you said your thing was.
Friend.
Yeah.
I discovered it in high school. Isn't it sweet? I have never had the heart to change it. It's too much of my past.
I love when you have somebody who's like when they created something in high school and it's just like, we're just gonna keep this.
That's like I mean like it just feels wrong when I change it. Like I could do like I've thought of like other things like sanguine luminescence because that's cool.
What about B. Elledge?
B. Elledge? No. Bellage? No.
Yeah, you could be Bellage.
No, because that's my email. Friend, if it's your email, that should not be your username because it's lame.
Yeah.
It's like I got that in high school because I wanted like a somewhat professional email because no one's gonna ask what's your Twitter handle on my resume. It's like no, it's like what's my email and it's gonna be Bellage. And it's easy. It's like oh, bada boom, you got my email. It's just like what it says on the tin instead of Fire Hunter or my very first email, Unkillable Fire Death Beast. There's a reason I changed it because that's a nightmare to type with underscores.
Unkiller _ fire
Unkillable
_
fire
death
_
beast
at yahoo.com. And you can steal that one because it's probably got tons of junk mail in it.
Yeah, right. I'm like my first one was Colonel O'Neill because I was like super big into Stargate SG-1. So I'm like,
those P90s, man. Like I'm like,
oh god, the P90. What a garbage gun. But at the same time, you're just like,
you don't talk about FN
I'm
like
just
that.
I'm just kidding. P90s are delicious.
Actually, P90 is actually one of the best firearms ever made.
Yeah, it's one of those like I would love it. Whenever I see it, you want
to know why I say that, Josh? It's because I'm crossed. I'm crossed.
Okay, so you can.
I'm right hand dominant, left eye dominant. So like when I fire guns left-handed, so like when instead of just going like I like firearms, but I don't really have the money to buy them. But it's like if I think about buying a firearm, I gotta think about the ambidextrous nature of the firearm. P90s eject the shells at the very bottom of the gun instead of to the side, so where to hit my arm. So it's like, and then it's also just like it shoots a cartridge that they custom designed to get a contract with the UN, which is small, it's like a pistol caliber, but it's so fast it can go through body armors. It's really smart. It's a very smartly designed gun.
Like it's one of those like there was the
it looks so futuristic. People used it in everything. Even freaking like even it looks like they're using them in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. Well, like what do they use them? They used them in Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
Like all the guards were using like white P90s, and I'm like, that's a pretty dope P90.
Yeah,
it's like, I love your skin. Where'd you get it?
But that's the thing is like a lot of the time it's like guns that look futuristic. Like if someone put an FS2000 in something, it's like it ejects, like it's a bullpup. The magazine's here. It ejects the shells at the front of the gun. It's like, how in the world did they work that crop magic? No one knows. But it's just like, but anyways, it's just, that's like when someone makes a futuristic gun, it's going to be in everything.
Yeah.
Anything German made is probably going to be in everything because those are the most futuristic looking weapons. Give them 10 years, they're going to be making plasma weapons.
They put a P90, or they put like 2 P90s in the Love, Death, and Robots. It was like, we've got like 60 rounds for the P90s. And I'm like, you used P90s!
It's like, yeah, because the thing is, it's like, they probably got a license because, you know, like you actually have to change the name of guns in most games if you don't get licenses. Yeah. And it's just like, it's the reason why in JoJo they stripped out the subtitles and they had to change the name from Killer Queen to Deadly Queen, which I find so utterly offensive. It's just the name of a song. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's Queen though.
It's like, but it's the same thing. It's like, dude, they changed the look. You know, they changed the art style of Yoshikage Kira in the anime.
Why?
Because he looked. Let me show you. I'm gonna show him a picture.
While he pulls that up, you can find us on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast, Twitter at Animate Podcast. We're on Facebook and Tumblr too, if you want to do that. Same Animation Station Podcast. All of our episodes available on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, and on our website. David Bowie. It's totally David Bowie.
They didn't want to get sued by his.
Well, my thing though is like he has blonde hair. It's like if that guy had like red hair. Blonde. I know, but if that dude had like. That looks more red hair,
but then people put a lightning bolt on his face, change his hair to red, and it's Ziggy Stardust.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's Aladdin Zane. I'm sorry, Hannah. Because Ziggy Stardust, that's not Ziggy. That's Aladdin Zane with the lightning bolt on his face. Hannah's told me that so many times. Because Ziggy, you think the Zig like the Zig.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All of our episodes are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and Google Play. Other than that, and on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Other than that, I mean, I'm pretty much done. You're looking at the wonderful...
yeah, I just saw Big Fish and Begonia today.
Exactly, yeah. I literally listened to that episode, went on Amazon, and ordered it.
Josh, you ever gonna do an episode on Redline?
Oh, maybe.
We should. That's a good movie.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. Like, when you watch Baki, we'll do one on Baki, because I've been wanting to do one on Baki.
Sure, dude. I'll be down.
And Season 2 comes out April 30th, so...
If we're going to do an episode, we should really do an episode on Gundam Thunderbolt. That's a freaking amazing movie. Because it, like...
Before I go, because...
I'll explain why we should do one, because it kind of can be spoilery on why we should do one, because it's really cool about the soldiers in it. So
okay, then I mean that's all I got. So Ben, thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate it. I've been wanting to get on an episode for a while, and then JoJo, I heard like JoJo in the wind. I'm like, on that episode.
Exactly. All right, so Ben, so like anything else you want to end on?
Yeah, like, you know what's my biggest complaint about anime, Josh?
What?
There's no butts. All girls are flat butted. It's all about those booties, dude. None of them. End on that, Josh.